Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Louise Houghton.
Hello and welcome to our first highlight show of 2015. Let's get the ball rolling with a look at what's coming up in the next half an hour. 100 pages, one name. The worldwide Berlin cross-media project. The Pearl of the Alps. A visit to the Swiss resort of Saas-Fee. And stargazing, why few can resist reading their horoscope. Many Berliners would be happy to proclaim that the German capital is one of a kind. In many senses, that is true, of course. But careful study of maps and atlases has revealed that Berlin, as a place name, exists all over the globe, sometimes even in the middle of nowhere. A new documentary film showcases some of these lesser-known locations and aims to connect Berliners from as far afield as Africa, Asia and South America.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
And I'm a worldwide Berliner.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Bienvenidos a Berlín.
Welcome to a world tour, an expedition to places all named Berlin, but that couldn't be more different from one another.
We tried to make sure we had a wide variety. So in the film, there's a seaside Berlin, a Berlin in the snow, a Berlin that's a bit more lively, and a Berlin that's rather quiet, to make those contrasts even clearer.
The documentary Worldwide Berlin shows one day in 7 different Berlins around the world, from Russia to Papua New Guinea to Germany. The film was the brainchild of Berlin-based TV writer Elke Sasse. She and her crew have now tracked down more than 100 Berlins.
Most of the Berlins are in North, Central and South America. That linked to the fact that 90% of the Berlins were settled by immigrants. Basically, they took the old name with them to the New World and planted it there.
One Berlin is in Bolivia, in the Andes. It boasts more than 1,000 llamas, but just 10 people. Legend has it an airplane with German passengers once made an emergency landing here, so it was named Central Berlin. Elke Sasse and her crew came here in January of 2014. Their experience here made quite an impression on them.
What really blew us away was the stillness. We came from our Berlin, which is loud. It's never quiet. You can hear something even at 3 in the morning. There's always traffic, always people, always light. And we came to this place and it was simply silent.
At the same time, her colleagues went to the farthest corners of the earth. In the Pacific Ocean, the reporters met fishermen from Berlin Harbor in Papua New Guinea, a remnant of colonial times. They visited the Amish community in a Berlin in the U.S. state of Ohio. Berlin, Russia is a small hamlet on the border to Kazakhstan. It's sealed off by the military. Visitors need a permit to enter it. Here, too, the crew from Berlin, Germany received a hearty welcome.
They know there's another Berlin, and we were sort of ambassadors, people who come from their big sister city. We always had a book about Berlin in our baggage and showed them the photos. We had a message with greetings from Berlin's town hall and little souvenirs, so we really played the role of ambassadors.
And, of course, the documentary presents the German capital. But portraying this Berlin posed some problems for the production company.
It was a real challenge to decide who we would choose to represent it.
In the end, they chose a street sweeper and a taxi driver and followed them around for a day in Berlin. The production company, Berlin Producers, worked on the project for 2 years. A website that's been online since November supplements the film. It has even more Berlins to explore. The aim is to present all the namesake cities and connect them.
We want to revive that we are Berliners feeling a bit. People should tell each other what it's like in Berlin, Texas, or Berlin Harbor, Papua New Guinea. Not only do we want to get that message out, we want them to get in contact with one another.
After all, there are plenty of Berliners in over 100 more places around the world.
Berlin, New Jersey.
Berlin.
And they all have lots more stories to tell.
And you can keep up to date with the project via our website, as DW is co-producing it. Now, this year has been declared as the International Year of Light by UNESCO. This was done in the hopes that people will remember how important light is for life on Earth. A new exhibition in Paris is the first of many on the subject, and it showcases the work of Olafur Eliasson, a Danish-Icelandic artist who also aims to help people and help bring light to those without electricity.
The magical world of light, in the form of sculptures, a reflecting installation, or as rotating components, as in the piece Inside Horizon, now on show in Paris. All of these artworks are by Olafur Eliasson. Like no other artist, he manages to create ever new ways of using light.
I think natural light is amazing, and that's why it's a tool in my toolbox. And I hope I'm able to use it to say things about people, because light allows you to delve into yourself.
Light sensitizes our perception. That's the point of Eliasson's current exhibition, Contact, at the Fondation Louis Vuitton. The audience itself often becomes part of the artwork.
I hope people come here to get into contact, not just with the exhibition, but also with themselves and with other people. I think it's a good idea that we aren't here to get away from reality, but to enter into contact with reality.
The installation Map for Unthought Thoughts follows the same principle. When visitors move, they cast huge shadows of themselves. Olafur Eliasson became world famous in 2003 with his weather project. About 2 million people saw this artificial sun at London's Tate Modern. The interaction between water and light fascinates Eliasson. He often works with the motif of the rainbow. For example, in 2011, he made a work of art out of colored glass on the roof of the Aarhus Art Museum in the Danish city of Aarhus.
I'm interested in what enters our eyes. I'm also interested in how it affects the space. For me, light is a kind of expansion tool with which I can expand all the dimensions.
Olafur Eliasson has been using light to create experiential spaces for over 2 decades, like at this exhibition in Berlin. He's had a studio in the German capital since the mid-1990s. Some 50 people work here. Eliasson was born in Denmark in 1967, but grew up in Iceland.
I've always been incredibly interested in the sun. It has something spiritual about it, and also we share the sun. It doesn't belong to anyone, and you can make use of it for free.
The artist has developed a solar-powered lamp he calls the Little Sun. About 1.2 billion people in this world have no access to electricity. Eliasson wants to change that. Once charged, the Little Sun will shine for about 3 hours. It's already in use in 9 different African countries and in Europe. The sun plays an important role in the exhibition in Paris as well. This installation simulates a solar eclipse.
Light will probably play a big role in the future, not just because light is good for reading and the other things we're familiar with. Communication also takes place primarily through light, through fiber optics. And I think light will be a source of energy that goes far beyond what we currently can imagine.
This installation functions only when the sun is shining. A glass sphere and a mirror direct sunlight into the building, but not when the sun's not out, of course. Even in art, light cannot be taken for granted.
Now, it's that time of year when extreme sports enthusiasts head off to the snow. Right at the top of the Alps in Switzerland is the Canton of Valais, and at such high altitude there is snow on the mountain all year round. The resort of Saas-Fee attracts both tourists and professionals for this reason, but the glacier and the world's largest ice grotto are two other major draws that make for a truly fascinating addition to the usual ski trip.
The Swiss Canton of Valais has more than 40 peaks that top the 4,000-meter mark. That includes the Michabel Range, Switzerland's second highest massif. Its highest summit is Mount Dome, more than 4,500 meters in elevation. At the foot of the mountain chain is Saas-Fee, a popular winter resort. There's enough snow to ski even early in the season.
One reason for that is that we're 1,800 meters above sea level, and the ski area goes up to 3,600 meters. Here you can ski for 360 days of the year.
22 ski lifts take people up the slopes. An underground funicular, the Metro Alpine, takes you all the way to the top. The Tourism Association calls it the world's highest subway. On the Alalinhorn, just over 4,000 meters, the air is already a bit thinner. Temperatures fall below freezing early in the season, so snow draws not only vacationers, but also professionals who want to train here.
The snow is amazing here. It's like, because of the altitude, you get amazing powder, so that's why I love it. And also the village is amazing.
The snow here is magnificent. There isn't any in the valley yet, but here it's minus 20 degrees Celsius. It's perfect. I'm in Saas-Fee for the third time, and it's really magnificent. It's the ideal place to ski.
Part of the ski area is on the 6-kilometer-long Fee Glacier. A tunnel leads deep into the ice, which has lain here for thousands of years. The 5,500 cubic meter cave inside is the world's largest ice grotto, offering icy art and deep crevices. Back down in Saas-Fee, this multi-story car park becomes an ice arena every year. The Ice Climbing World Cup takes place here in January. Participants overcome obstacles made of ice and climb up an artificial frozen waterfall, as here in 2014. Preparations are already underway for the 2015 championships in a few weeks. In the winter, the spas in the Swiss Alps are especially popular. The Aqua Alaline, named after the Alalinhorn, is brand new. The spa's modern interior is modeled on the Swiss barn style. That means chalets on stilts. They used to be built in this region to store food.
Our buildings don't stand on stilts, but the construction style is based on these barns. And the designers tried to recapture their cubicle quality and dark colors, as used to be typical for Saas-Fee.
The Swiss Alpine region is renowned for its cheeses. The restaurant Arvu specializes in cheese fondue. Chef Giancarlo Loggiani brings out the best in the melted cheese with a little garlic, a dash of cherry brandy, and white wine.
This is a mixture of 4 different cheeses: Vaccarine Fribourgeois, Gruyère, Valais mountain cheese, and Raclette du Valais. That's what goes into our Valais-style fondue.
And of course, it's a dish that's shared. A warming conclusion to a day spent in the icy temperatures of the peaks.
Now, my star sign is a Taurus, which is meant to mean that I'm stubborn, not keen on change, and that I'll always think twice before acting on something. But can this description really be true for everyone in my zodiac? Well, Western astrology has been around for about 4,000 years now, and many people follow the stars' predictions. But can the universe really dictate what will happen in the future?
The stars have fascinated humans for thousands of years, and many people think they actually influence us. Magazines and newspapers are full of horoscopes proclaiming what the new year has in store. Each of Western astrology's 12 signs of the zodiac is associated with specific personality traits.
I believe in astrology a little. I think a horoscope does reflect a person's basic character traits.
I think it's nonsense. It never comes true. I don't really believe in it. I read them pretty regularly. I guess subconsciously I do believe in it to a certain extent.
Opinions on astrology are divided, as Gerda Rogers knows well. The professional astrologer is a Capricorn. Her ascendant, associated with her place of birth, is Scorpio. She says that means she's down to earth with a tendency to mysticism.
For me, astrology is a way of looking deep into people's souls, a way of recognizing predispositions and tendencies, and realizing where they are in their lives at the moment. I think astrology is an excellent aid in situations where people have to make decisions.
Gerda Rogers writes horoscopes that appear in various German magazines, and on special occasions, she looks into the stars for the stars. For instance, she predicted the 2014 Eurovision Song Contest victory of Austrian drag queen Conchita Wurst. People also look to astrology for advice.
People of every age and every profession come to consult me, whether they're men, women, or teenagers. It's not taboo anymore. I've also noticed the economic crisis has changed things a bit. Now I have more men coming with big financial questions.
There's no scientific evidence to support astrology, but even though many people don't like to admit it, it can be attractive. In a recent survey, more than 5% of Germans said they thought highly of astrology, while 33% said they believed it to some extent. In Austria, half of those asked claimed to believe in their horoscope. 4 millennia ago, the Babylonians first studied astronomical cycles and their influence on human activity. German media psychologist Jo Gröbel has an explanation for astrology's popularity.
If statistics show that the belief in astrology has grown, that may have to do with the fact that people have fewer values to guide them in their lives, and astrology is the lowest common denominator. And of course, in times of crisis, people either hope that things will soon look up, and they believe that astrology predicts better times ahead, or that they will at least derive more security in their lives from it.
30 years ago, Gerda Rogers opened her astrological life coaching practice near Vienna. Prices for individual sessions start at €50. Rogers uses a special computer program to create an astrological chart based on the date, time, and place of her client's birth. Then the actual task starts, interpreting the diagram.
For me, it's like a photograph. I can see where the person is in their life. I can see their whole personality. So now I can identify the diseased spot in the person seeking advice. And once I've found that, I can offer suggestions for a solution to the problem.
Mit Gerda Rogers und
For more than 20 years, Gerda Rogers has been giving astrological counseling live on an Austrian radio station. Most of the callers want advice about love. Together with announcer Sylvia Graf, Rogers offers solutions for the most pressing life-changing issues.
According to your horoscope, you have the Sun in Pisces with Libra ascendant. So there is plenty of compatibility there. But basically, he's a man who I'd say is absolutely incapable of making a commitment.
Even without scientific evidence, we all want to know what the new year has in store.
I see 2015 as a positive year of change, especially in the second half, when Jupiter moves into Virgo to make a trine with Pluto. Then we'll have firm ground under our feet again and lots of joy in life.
So, a positive outlook. This time next year, we'll know if she's right.
Now, as it is January, cold and grey, it's therefore a great time to start planning holidays. Some lucky people, though, have the pleasure of living and working in a holiday environment the whole year around. The staff at holiday resorts, for example. We followed a day in the life of an entertainment host on the popular Spanish island of Gran Canaria, and we found out just how much energy and enthusiasm goes in to keeping the tourists happy.
It's 11 a.m. at the Riu Club Hotel Resort on Gran Canaria. For the last hour, professional host Eurisle Leal Gonzalez has been putting a group of vacationers through their paces. After some stretching, she moves on to a 30-minute aqua aerobics lesson. Yuri, as her friends call her, was born in Cuba. She's lived on Gran Canaria for around 8 years. She works at the 4-star resort 5 days a week.
My work is all about energizing the guest. I'm constantly talking to people. And I like to convey a joie de vivre. That's the most important thing. Positive energy and good vibes. Not everyone can do that. You have to be a certain type to do this kind of work.
This sort of hotel tends to attract families. The team of hosts is a big draw for them. Many people book a stay here because of the wide range of activities. The resort is in Maspalomas, one of the most popular destinations on the island. Tourism is Gran Canaria's most important industry. Yuri has worked here for 4 years now. One of her main duties is maintaining a good relationship with the guests. At 12:30, it's time for the rehearsal for the evening performance. Those who do this job have to speak several languages and be physically fit. The job also requires acting and dancing talent. Yuri's a trainer dancer, so that part comes naturally. But it still took her a while to grow into the job.
When you start out, the job can be stressful. You think, oh God, I have to do this, then I have to run to the next thing. But once you get used to it and have fun with it, it's no problem. You find a rhythm. You prepare activities, lead them, eat lunch, go home, do the evening show, then it starts all over again.
At 3 o'clock, the team gives a small performance by the pool and lets the guests know what activities are planned for the afternoon. Before Yuri leads her next activity, she shows us what some of her colleagues are up to. While Maria from Spain is doing strength training, Nina from Germany is in the hotel's art studio, helping guests to get in touch with their creativity. A few meters away, a Dutch colleague is doing the same, but with younger guests. At 3:30, Yuri's working again. This time she's giving a salsa class. Yuri eats dinner at home. Then she's back at the resort at 8:30, in time to prepare for the evening performance.
I do get tired after a typical day of classes, looking after the guests, and generally having a lot to do. But at the same time, I still have energy, and I look forward to the performances. I love my job, so it never feels like a chore.
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, it starts all over again. Yuri will be back, making sure the guests have a holiday to remember.
Wow, I think I'm tired just looking at her work, but I'm sure the sun makes all the difference. If you want to find out more about any of our reports today, then you can find them all on our website, which is just below. That has brought us to the end of the show for today, though, so until next week, it's goodbye. Tschüss.